Well, in either stance, that's a real problem for Canelo because he will just be switching, and you don't know where the shots are coming from, and it's so easy for him to do so. And I think the thing that really made me appreciate him is there's many times where I've seen people try and trade with him and slug it out and...
I don't know if it's reachable for him. If anybody can do it, it's him, and I'm contradicting myself. I just don't see it happening, you know? Could it happen? Yeah, it's boxing.
Terence Crawford is making headlines as he reportedly teams up with former middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin in preparation for his upcoming bout against Canelo Alvarez. Sources suggest the duo is focusing on enhancing Crawford's punching precision, ring awareness, and overall strategy. Training under Golovkin seasoned, I could give Crawford a valuable advantage as he readies himself for one of the most challenging matchups of his career. Terence Crawford isn't seen as just another skilled boxer. Analysts view him as a standout talent in today's fight game. He blends quickness, sharp timing, and an exceptional ability to anticipate his opponent's moves. What sets Crawford apart is his fluid stance switching and in-fight adjustments, traits rarely seen at such a high level. Many describe his fight intelligence as elite, noting how methodically he dissects his opponents. His versatility and deep understanding of the ring make him a rare presence in modern boxing, with some calling him not just great, but a master of strategic control inside the ropes.
If there is anyone who can do it, it's Terence "Bud" Crawford, a man who survived getting shot in the head, for God's sakes. Like, he is not normal. He is a wizard of boxing. He's got genius IQ, one of the smartest boxers I've ever seen, and he can do it all. He's had over 40 fights. I can't ever remember seeing him, like, shook or worried. I mean, this is, you know, trained killers trying to take his head off, and he never looks out of pocket. He is like a rapper who just turns up and figures out his lines on the fly and still makes it sound like the best song you've ever heard. Like, that's how amazing he is. Like, I've never seen anyone who can fight out both stances the way Crawford can. I mean, he looks so natural in either stance. That's a real problem for Canelo because he will just be switching, and you don't know where the shots are coming from, and it's so easy for him to do so. And I think the thing that really made me appreciate him is there's many times where I've seen people try and trade with him and slug it out, and you know when they stand in the pocket and they just go for it. And even in those situations where usually both of you are getting hit, he still manages to hit and not get hit. It's like he's in the Matrix. And this isn't against average fighters. This is against the best in the world at 4 different weight classes. And he's made it look easy pretty much every time he's moved up. I think in the Errol Spence fight, that was a fight that was supposed to be 50-50. The pressure was on. A lot of people thought he was going to lose that fight. He made that look like a boxing lesson. And the reason was when Errol Spence would throw a punch and not get out of the pocket quick enough, he would make them pay every single time. And if people are worried about Canelo's feet being slow, if there's anyone who can punish that, it's Terence "Bud" Crawford. In terms of weaknesses, these guys, they don't really have weaknesses. They've just got things that they maybe not as amazing at. That's the level we're talking here. Canelo has been accused of being a bit of a slow starter, and, you know, that could be a problem in this fight.
Mikal Fox recently weighed in on the highly anticipated showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, emphasizing that Crawford's main hurdle will be the weight difference. Stepping up to fight a naturally larger and more powerful opponent like Canelo is no small task. The size disparity could allow Canelo to lean on physical strength, potentially limiting Crawford's ability to engage in close exchanges. However, Fox was quick to point out that, beyond size, Crawford holds a clear advantage in most technical areas. Crawford's exceptional footwork enables him to create difficult angles and stay elusive, particularly against pressure fighters. His jab is crisp and accurate, often used to control pace and disrupt an opponent's rhythm. With elite-level timing, he consistently finds and exploits even the narrowest openings. Perhaps his greatest asset, though, is his high ring IQ. He's known for adjusting on the fly and changing tactics mid-bout with ease. According to Fox, these traits could make Crawford a major problem for Canelo. If Crawford can withstand the physical strength and prevent Canelo from dictating the tempo with power shots, his superior skill set may well give him the edge. In that scenario, an upset victory over the Mexican icon is entirely within reach.
I would like to see Bud pull it off. The thing about it is, I think the only disadvantage Bud really has is the weight. I think he has all the skills and attributes that are required to beat a guy like Canelo Alvarez. Canelo's kind of flat-footed. You've seen the fights with Bivol and Laura and even School, who didn't do much, but you see that movement irritates Canelo. You know what I'm saying? When dudes that know how to control the range and stuff like that, he didn't look like the world beater. You know what I mean? The motherfucker that sat in front of him, them dudes that sat in front of him, we see what he did with him. You know what I mean? But guys like Bivol, who was bigger, but he bouncing in and out. Laura, motherfucking landing counter left, and he's circling out. And that shit was, you know, fucking with Canelo. Floyd, you know, it probably killed Canelo that Floyd was always only an inch away. Yep. Just a little step back, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, God damn, I feel like I missed by a mile.
That's
so,
crazy, because he didn't use no movement.
Right.
He stood in the pocket on it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Triple G was, you said G? Triple G?
No, I said Floyd didn't use no movement.
Yeah, no. He was always where he needed to be in the ring. He was always where he needed to be in the ring. I'm in there to land, then I'm just right here. In there to land, but now I'm right here. It was a bad motherfucker, Joe. Like that's what Floyd never gotta understand. Floyd was a bad motherfucker. But the movement, having good feet under you, helps against Canelo.
When new training photos of Terence Crawford began making the rounds online, they quickly grabbed attention and sparked debate. The images showcased Crawford in top physical shape, with a noticeably chiseled and defined physique. But the striking visuals led some to question their authenticity, wondering whether the photos had been enhanced or strategically released to send a message to Canelo Alvarez ahead of their highly anticipated matchup. While it's well known that Crawford is highly disciplined in his preparation, the sudden buzz around his physique stirred speculation. The reaction underscores how closely fans and analysts scrutinize even the smallest details in the lead-up to a blockbuster fight.
Shredded wheat and amazing is this photo photoshopped, because this photo that Ilia Tapora posted of Terence Bud Crawford is the latest photo we've seen, and he looks just less impressive in this photo. Well, the question is really, when were the photos taken? All right, so when you look at this photo and you look at this photo and look at this video of Terence Crawford with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh as Terence Crawford is working out, supposedly just yesterday, right? Which one is Terence Crawford's latest appearance? Because even though this is the latest photo you've seen, doesn't mean this is when the photo was taken. The only reason why people are confused is because this latest photo seems to have been taken in Vegas, and we're approaching fight week and Terence Crawford is already in Vegas, hence the video with him with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh in Vegas. Now, let me explain all of this. Well, first you gotta look at the hairstyles, right? Terence Crawford in this photo from Ilia Tapora, his hairstyle is totally different than this hairstyle here with Terence Crawford shredded wheat. It is also different than his hairstyle that he has here in the gym with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. You can tell because you can tell how the hair braid, like how it's parted in this photo, and in this photo, they're more parted down the middle, where this video, it's slanted, it's in like a diagonal slant, which I'm thinking is his latest.
Adam Smith recently offered a thoughtful breakdown of why he leans toward Terence Crawford in his upcoming bout with Canelo Alvarez, placing a strong emphasis on timing as the critical factor. In Smith's view, success in boxing isn't just about raw talent. It's also about facing opponents at the right point in their career trajectories. He noted that Canelo, despite his continued excellence, has been through numerous grueling fights with elite-level opposition, and that wear and tear is beginning to show. While Canelo still has world-class skills, Smith believes his speed, explosiveness, and sharpness have slightly declined from their peak. On the flip side, Crawford appears to be entering the prime of his career. He's undefeated, riding high on momentum, and looks as sharp and focused as ever. His hunger to cement his legacy and challenge the best remains strong, and physically, he shows no signs of slowing down. According to Smith, this convergence of form, ambition, and freshness gives Crawford a significant edge. He argued that the timing of this matchup doesn't favor Canelo, making it an ideal moment for Crawford to capitalize and possibly deliver a career-defining performance.
Be in Vegas to see, I think Terence Crawford beats Canelo, and I think that it's going to be his coming out party. I'd love to be there, and Canelo, of course, an all-time great. Yeah, but listen, I love Ireland, and I'm pleased to be in Belfast with the zone for Crocker and Donovan. There's something about an all-Irish fight which is fantastic, and it was great and controversial first time around. It's even bigger now, so yeah, let's chat over there and get on with it.
Just a quick one on Canelo Crawford. I heard you pick Crawford. You just said it there. How much of that is down to timing, and how much of that is down to styles?
A bit of both. I think Canelo is approaching 70 fights. He's been beaten before. Crawford remains undefeated. I think that the jump up is big, but I think he's got the speed, the IQ, the experience, the know-how to be able to handle it. If he's switched on for every minute of every round, I think he wins, and I think he announces himself to the world on Netflix. And I think he deserves it. I think Terence Crawford's only been really known to the trade fans. Canelo, obviously, a bigger name, bigger star, and look, I fancy Crawford in this fight. Look, nothing against Canelo. Maybe it's a little bit of time in the skull fight. I don't know, but there's plenty that fancy Canelo be too big, too strong, too good. It's Crawford for me.
The debate over the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown got heated during a recent episode of Talk Sport Boxing. Some panelists didn't hold back, with one bold take suggesting that a one-sided loss for Crawford could potentially mark the end of his run at the sport's top tier. The discussion featured a clear divide. While some argued that Canelo's natural size and relentless pressure might prove too much, others backed Crawford's elite skill set and high ring IQ to exploit Canelo's flaws. The segment highlighted the broader split in opinion across the boxing community. But what really stood out was the dramatic prediction that a poor showing could sideline Crawford from future headline bouts, underlining just how massive the stakes are in this fight.
So yeah, there's a big argument that Canelo Alvarez starts the favourite going into this one because he's the super middleweight world champion. Bud Crawford jumping up to two weight divisions, and he's jumped up a weight division before that as well, beating Errol Spence. You just look at it and go, it's a massive ask here for Terence Crawford. But something inside me tells me he wins, and we'll get into that later on.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but in the meantime, Canelo, as ever, has left no stone unturned. He's been training at altitude in Sierra Nevada, looking to get the maximum body stamina and preparation advantage. It's something that he's used to, and of course he's going to effectively be the home fighter because Tex-Mexers will be up in their numbers from Texas. Also, Hispanic fans from all around the United States. The fight is being made on Mexican Independence Day. I don't think you have to be a great crystal ball gazer to know where the bulk of the crowd is going to be rooting when they step out inside those ropes and their names are bellowed out by the ringside announcer afterwards.
Listen, even though the fight happens in America and Terence Crawford is American, it is going to be so pro-Mexican there, because Canelo is accepted. He's like an adopted son there, and Mexican Independence Day, all of that goes so much in favour of Canelo Alvarez. You go, actually, the guy that's a four-division world champion and a superstar of the sport and American will start probably the fan favourite will definitely be Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, definitely. And he's been training with somebody, sparring with a man who he thinks replicates Crawford's style in sparring many rounds against Yaron Ennis.
George Ferocious Kambosos Jr. shared his thoughts on the Canelo versus Crawford matchup, focusing on Canelo Alvarez's trademark pressure fighting style. He noted that Canelo is most effective when he's able to close the distance, cut off the ring, and unleash precise, powerful combinations. Kambosos pointed out that Canelo's strength lies in his ability to stay in his opponent's face, delivering accurate shots while steadily pushing forward. He expects Canelo to apply the same relentless approach against Crawford, aiming to keep him on the back foot throughout the fight. The key challenge for Crawford, according to Kambosos, will be absorbing that physical pressure and not letting Canelo take control of the tempo. In his view, Canelo's forward pressure is a serious weapon that shouldn't be overlooked.
Canelo is the pressure fighter. He's got to put the pressure on Crawford. He has to be able to land his big shots. He's seasoned at fighting at super middleweight. he's fought as high as light heavyweight, as we know. So he is accustomed to the bigger punches, the bigger shots. I don't think Crawford can really land anything that's going to trouble a guy like Canelo Alvarez. You know, Canelo is such a good pressure fighter, and for him to be successful in this fight, he needs to be able to really cut the ring off very, very well with a guy like Terence Crawford. Now, we saw in Canelo's last fight against Skull that he was not able to really cut him off well. So that has caused a lot of doubters, you know, and people starting to think, you know, Crawford will have that edge in the footwork and the movement department. But, you know, when you're fighting a big fight, you're going to get up for a big fight, and he's really going to be at his best against a guy like Terence Crawford. So I believe he will cut the ring off, you know, very, very well. And for him to be successful, he has to land shots on Crawford, put him in 2 frames of mind, make Crawford double think every time Canelo goes into and wants to land shots and land shots. Now, a guy like Crawford is so slick, so dynamic, able to punch you from different angles and, you know, different stances. We see he switches from orthodox to southpaw. He might fight the whole fight in southpaw. So he's so dynamic. Now, he's the kind of guy that he's going to put Canelo in.
Some analysts have looked back at Terence Crawford's bout with Israel Madrimov as a sign that moving up in weight has posed challenges for him. They note that during that fight, Crawford appeared somewhat unsettled adjusting to the higher weight class, and his power didn't carry the same impact as before. Given that, stepping up once more to face a naturally larger and stronger opponent like Canelo Alvarez could present even greater difficulties. These experts worry that the size and strength gap might blunt Crawford's usual strengths, making this jump in weight a potentially risky gamble.
But a lot of people feel Crawford actually lost that fight. So we've got Crawford who's coming in off the back of, well, his previous 2 fights. One of them was brilliant performance. The other one was a bit lackluster by his very high standards, albeit against a very, very good fighter. But you could see in that fight that the size of Israel Madrimov, bear in mind, 154 pounds. Israel Madrimov still fights at 154 pounds. This is super middleweight, 2 divisions more. And we've seen Canelo when he's brought someone up from 154 who was a decent size 154 pounder in Charlo. But Crawford's not going to do what Charlo did. Charlo fought like, you know, someone who was completely scared out of his mind and just didn't want to knew he wasn't going to win, but didn't want to get stopped. That was really the look we were getting from Charlo. Crawford is not going to do that. He's a very proud man, doesn't know what it's like to be defeated. He fully believes in himself, and the shape he looks in phenomenal shape. He's coming into this fight fully believing that he can win this, and that right there is the mindset you need to have. It won't guarantee you victory, but it will give you a better chance than if you went in there thinking, just survive and see what happens. I do think that the size difference will be something. Although saying that, look at Canelo Alvarez, we look at his most recent performances, and when's the last fight from Alvarez that's really made you stand up and take note? Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, maybe those 2 fights, they were good performances. Lost, clearly, the Dimitri Bivol fight, although it's very close here. It was on the scorecards, it was a clear loss. Against Triple G, it was just a meh performance. Likewise against John Ryder, Charlo, I won't even talk about that. Munguia, it was a bit meh. Again, Berlanga, it was like, okay, and show me something.
Joe Vargas, a former member of Canelo's team, recently shared his perspective on the upcoming fight, stressing that Canelo brings something truly unique to the ring. Vargas highlighted Canelo's calmness under pressure, his expert body punching, and his ability to deliver knockout blows with both hands as key factors that make him a formidable opponent. He also pointed out that Crawford hasn't faced anyone quite like Canelo, someone who combines raw power with sharp defensive skills. While acknowledging Crawford's talent and ring intelligence, Vargas believes this matchup will present challenges unlike any Crawford has faced before. For Vargas, this fight represents an opportunity for Canelo to reaffirm his status as one of boxing's most well-rounded champions.
This is the first time I pick it. I'm going to go with Canelo on this one.
Why is that?
They're both great at what they do. I'm going against Maggie. I heard everything she said right now. She's right on the money on all that stuff, but Crawford has done a lot of great things at a smaller weight. You know, that jump is I don't know if it's reachable for him. If anybody can do it, it's him, and I'm contradicting myself. I just don't see it happening, you know. Could it happen? Yeah, it's boxing. But I just think Canelo's too good at the little things. And what's Crawford's game plan gonna be? You know, that's what's gonna define the fight to me.
Do you think Canelo knocks him out?
No, but I think, well, if that's the only way I think he's gonna win. I think he wants to make a statement. I was going back and forth about Canelo, like everybody talks about, like, for example, when Berlanga fought Shiraz. Did I say it right? Shiraz? Berlanga was engaging with Shiraz. He wasn't engaging with Canelo much, you know? Same thing with Ryder. He didn't engage with Canelo. Munguia did. And it's like, you fight people different. Crawford's not gonna fight him the same way he's fought everybody else. Yeah, he's gonna make great adjustments. He's gonna do some great things. It's not the same till you get hit by Canelo. You know, one time, I remember the first time Ulises Sierra sparred with Canelo, the first time we went to his camp, and he came back after the first round, and I said, "What's up, mijo? How hard does he hit?" He said, "Coach, I can feel his power all the way down to my feet."
That wraps up today's video. Make sure to stay tuned for what's coming next.